What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and in today's video we're going to talk about why you should never pre-order singles, and we're going to take a look at the prices at pre-release and then on release, and we'll dive into pretty much just why you should never do that. But if you enjoyed the content, if you could just here, if you're planning on buying any OP06 TCG singles, you can click this link here in the YouTube video description to shop TCGPlayer and support me with the singles you will already be buying. Let's go ahead and dive in. What's going on, YouTube? Vampyr Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you all a video, and a lot of you who have been in a trading cards scene know this, but this is really for everybody new and really just to kind of highlight something. So number one is really just to never buy pre-release cards. Just don't ever. And here's why, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. And so today is 3/14, so it's Thursday, the day before it goes live. So if you're familiar with TCGPlayer, one of the things with pre-sale is, and we'll go ahead and show here, but it's a pre-sale, please keep in mind. So these are only available to certified hobby stores. And so these listings can only be done by stores that are certified brick and mortars. With that, there's not very many people that can list. And so we're going to see, and we're going to take a look tomorrow at a couple cards, but you can see some people bought right away at 500, which is unfortunate because they're already $246, because there isn't a ton of information when these get listed except for by the people who are selling them. And then of course, you know, we do have a point of reference essentially for leader prices and things like that too, in terms of their playability amongst other things, to kind of gear us towards an appropriate price. So in this video, I'm going to show you today, but we're also going to jump to tomorrow morning, and I'm going to show you exactly what these prices look like tomorrow morning once listing is opened up to everybody, which includes those, you know, the backpack vendors, the people at home, anybody who bought a case, on just every other store that just isn't like verified, independent sellers, just a whole lot of people gain access to selling, and so then the prices go down. In some TCGs, pre-ordering makes sense. If you come from other TCGs, you know, but again, it's still very rare that you pre-order a product and then on release it costs more. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And so that's something that we have to consider. Like in my head, this Sanji is not this Zoro. This Sanji is way less playable. I think this card, just taking a stab at it, I think this card is going to be $40 or less by the end of the week. There's only been one sold, and usually somebody just does this to set the market so people think that this is what people are paying, and sometimes it works. But then we'll of course take a look here at Moria, and you can kind of see there's two sales. People know on the leaders. This card, this leader, it does have Uda going for it, but I think this card is 60, 50. I think this card should be 30, 35, but because it is like waifu tax, if you would, I think this card would be about 50, maybe 60. Same here, probably about 40 to 50. This one might be like 50 to 60 because it is playable. Let's take a look at the sales here, so we can kind of get an idea. And one of the best points of reference I think there is, so in Europe they have Card Market. If you're not familiar with Card Market, definitely check them out. If you're watching this video and you're planning on buying some of these singles, you can click the link in the YouTube video description to buy these singles. Help support the channel by money you're already spending. It helps me out a ton. I greatly appreciate it, and allows me to continue to push out this content that you all love. Moria, for example, this is a great example. There's been a ton of pre-sales, and so like it's not even like you get it earlier either. Like when you pre-order this, they're going to essentially ship it out, if you're lucky, maybe today, but I'm pretty sure they're like supposed to ship it out tomorrow. So you're paying most of the time a higher price. It's very rare that any card becomes like worth more after release. and you don't even get it sooner when you could buy it potentially from eBay. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead. Honestly, I put this card, I think 20 might be reasonable, but I'm gonna put 15. I'm gonna say 15 because I think it goes 15 and it just slowly works his way back up to 20. Perona's gonna be like 4 or 5. You do need it in 2 different decks, but also this guy shouldn't be more than $1. If people were listing it at like 5 and people were buying him because Gordon's so expensive, same here. Honestly, I like this card. Just because he's going to be big in Red Purple Law, and Red Purple Law pops off after Extra Booster 01. So I think he should be like $2. So definitely pick those up. This card's also, both these are probably going to be really cheap, relatively speaking. This card's going to be like pennies. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm also going to jump to Card Market, and then afterwards we'll jump to tomorrow and take a look at those prices, and you'll just really see like you'll be saving so much money. Like this Sanji should be like $8. All right, so this site here is Card Market. It isn't the most user-friendly site, just because of the way that it's set up, but we'll take a look here. So you got Gecko Moria. They had them at like 19 euros, and so it's about 1.1 times the US prices, but we've got Moria at about 16, 17. So again, we could be in that like 15 to 20 range in the US, but these don't have any restrictions. Same with like Hiyori. Hiyori is already like 10, 7. So like I think Hiyori is going to be like 7, 8. And yeah, this is for Europe. So if you're in Europe, this is essentially the European version of TCGPlayer. But everybody can list right now. And so these aren't even like the masses haven't even started opening. Some stores didn't have pre-release, things like that. So there's going to be even more product floating around. A lot of people's have been shipped this week as well. There's just going to be a lot of opening over the next couple of days. And then we'll just kind of take a look. And I'll also tell you the cards that I like. But yeah, you can see Perona. Perona is truly €5, €6. Sometimes the pricing can be fairly reasonable for pre-orders, but a lot of times, especially like on those leaders, you're going to see some very expensive cards. So let's just kind of see what these leaders are at. Search. Okay, so you got Manga Zoro, 1600. Yamato, 144 on the leader. Rebecca, second most expensive, 127. Lin 120. So very on brand for those. The Treasure Rare Nami is $110. So you could see a potential big drop there, or potentially Europe just undervalues it. Usually cards in Europe are cheaper. Here is the Gecko Moria leader, 105. So maybe like 110, 120 here. But our cards do unfortunately tend to be just a little bit more expensive than theirs. But see Alt Sanji 35. But let's go ahead. We're going to time travel to tomorrow. I'm going to show you the prices now in the US, and then you can see and compare those to the price at the beginning of the video, and you'll realize that you just should never pre-order. Alright, so here we are. It is tomorrow, and now you can kind of see Treasurer Zoro, 1700. Not a lot of listings here. I'm sure that this will move pretty slowly, but you can see Treasurer Nami, 168. It was around 250. Perona kind of holding up. I'm sure the leaders might take a little bit. But you see Reiju down to 105, and it looks like a couple of sales this time around. There weren't very many before, but now, like, of course, as things get cheaper and these are more solidified price, even Gecko Moria just being $109. We get the Secret Zoro at 66. You see Uda already falling tremendously, 65, and I'm sure she will continue to go down just because there isn't a ton of value there. Moria holding up at around 80, but you see the Sanji Alt Art 60, down from, it was around like 80 The SP, of course, making its way down, again, down from 80. Perona holding strong, of course. The waifu tax is very real. And we'll take a look kind of at the sales too. Hiyori was kind of selling at around like 60, so now down. You see, you saved $11 there. Hody, this card is going to be like $5. Not actually, but this is going to be the cheap leader. And so I'm sure this guy continues to go down. He's probably going to be like, if I had to guess, I'd think he should be about $25. Just because he is like completely unplayable and only collectible. Tashigi, so we're actually starting to see Tashigi sales. They had him listed around 70, but here's the alt for around 40. Reiju, also one of those cards that are just holding up really strong. But we're going to take a look at the super rares. That's what we really want to see. So you see Gecko. Gecko was $26. There was a ton of sales for Gecko in the $26 area, but you will take a look here and see it started off around like 17, 18, 20, and slowly just made its way back down, and you can see still a ton of, so these are all today and this morning, but they were selling like this on yesterday for like $25, so you could have saved $10 by waiting one day. Starting to make his way back up, so if you need him, I figured he would be one. Gecko is probably one of those cards that you want to buy right now. Link in the description. But Gecko is probably one of those cards you want to buy right now if you still need him, just because he's going to go up kind of like Eustace did last set. A lot of these cards are going to be very affordable right now, but they're going to slowly creep their way up. This was interesting. I don't know what happened there, but Sanji, $9. This card was $20. He was listed at 40 at 1.2, and I said this card is like $8. Zoro, also amazing, good looking card, was selling for around 50, but now he is sitting at $20. Tons of sales again, because everybody just waits for pre-orders to be done. Yeah, see, $30, you would have saved $10 by waiting one day. So it's just the reason why you should just never pre-order singles. Hiyori was around 19, sitting at 10. Perona, I said Perona at like 5. That makes sense. We got Hiyori. Hiyori was actually selling for even less earlier this morning. I kind of waited just to let things play out. But you can see there's some like $8, some $9. Now she's sitting at like $10. I think it's one of the cards I need to go ahead and scoop up too, just because I need these. I think Hiyori, Hody, because like there's a ton of volume. There's a ton of sales happening right now. So I'm going to pick up a couple, see what I can get at locals later, and then I'll just buy the rest, because I do have some store credit with them. But yeah, Momonosuke, $3, $2. I think his cards, I almost think he's a buy. If he hits $2 solid, I think he's a solid buy, because again, he comes up a lot. But then of course you have your rares. People are buying this for $5. I mentioned Raise Max, he's at $3. This card is 50 cents. Also, Gordon is down. If you haven't had a chance to check out Gordon, if you need a Gordon, definitely go grab that. You know, you see Aramaki, 90 cents. Judge, $2. Shanks. These cards are probably going to be like the pennies. Kikunojo, I think, has a little bit of wiggle room, because Onami is arguably better. But yeah, as you can see, the singles are cheaper today than they were for pre-sale, just all across the board. And so just to save yourself money, because you're not going to get the cards faster, don't pre-order singles. If you found this content of value, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. We're almost at 3,000, which is absolutely insane. And then and if you need the singles sooner, shop eBay, because people on eBay will have them in hand and ship them like pretty fast, usually is their goal, because they're getting a higher premium to get those cards out to you early, just because they haven't been released yet and aren't massively available. But yeah, and if you're shopping these singles, hit that link in the YouTube video description. Shop your TCGPlayer singles. It should already be shopping.